Hello and welcome to Bourbon Forage Fishing. I'm your host Ryan. I hope you're doing well. Hey, this B524 is pretty darn good. The latest Elijah Craig barrel proof release. I am partial to B batches because, as I have discovered, the B batches tend to be a bit nuttier and a bit more candy bar-y-in, and I like that. Everybody loved the C923. I thought it was quite good. It didn't blow my mind like some people were really gung-ho on it. I thought, yeah, it was pretty solid. The C's tend to be a little bit more lighter and fruitier, not as much caramel and nut, which is not really when I drink Heaven Hill. like I said, I like the candy bar. So I'm gonna put these next to each other and see what the deal. So the C923 is gonna be on my left, the B524 on my right. Let's nose them. Just get down to business. It smells really effing good. The C923 smells every bit of that 13 plus years. Very well rounded, very well aged. It's kind of subtle on the nose, not a lot of alcohol vapor. Some corn, some sweet candy corn coming at me. Some fruitiness, kind of a little bit apple orchardy. A little bit of nuttiness. A little bit of spice, a little caramel. Very good. Let's look at the B524. Completely different beast. Brown sugar. Maple syrup. Almost like what's the desserts where they burn the sugar on the top? Kind of like a burnt caramel, burnt sugar. Tobacco-y in. Something in here, this is going to sound kind of weird, chocolate milk. I think there's a chocolatiness to this. Yeah, a lot of tobacco and that kind of smoky spicy. A lot more going on the nose, a lot stronger on the nose. A lot more to pick up. Back to the C923. Yeah, a lot lighter. A lot lighter the C is. Yeah, lighter. It's like way toe down caramel. I wouldn't even say maple. There's a bit of a mintiness. That's kind of interesting. Oh yeah, definitely some mintiness next to the B. That's really weird. Yeah, the mint is just jumping up at me like crazy. That's weird. So it's much, much lighter. Mint apple-y almost compared to the B. The B is just so much more dark brown sugars. Molasses, nougat, candy bar, man. Baby Ruth candy bar all day. With some tobacco sprinkled on top. Let's go into the palate of the C923. Okay, I'm starting to pick up a little bit more of the carameliness and maple. It's very subtle on the C though. Yeah, the C is... I don't really know why people went nuts for this. It's very subtle and light for an ECBP. And like I said, the caramel, maple, brown sugar, that's all dialed way, way back. I almost feel like the C923 is a weak batch. And that's why it was kept in there for 13-something years. It's like it was pushing 14 years. I feel like this should be a much stronger ECBP at 14 years. Like, it's too subtle, light, and kind of, especially for the proof point, you think there'd be more flavor going on. Yeah, there's a lot of mintiness. There's a nice buttered corn that shows up on the finish. The front and the mid are just too light for me. There's not a lot of flavor. I wish there was a lot more flavor and sweetness and something. The finish on it is really good. It's towards the end of the mid. That buttered cream corn comes in. Coats the mouth. The mouthfeel, of course, at 13, almost 14 years, it's tremendous, high proof, very good mouthfeel. That's probably its strength. Yeah, the buttered corn that comes in at the end, that's definitely, and the finish on that is definitely the bee's knees for the C923. Let's compare it to the B524. Yep, just so much more darker notes. Burnt caramel, chocolate, pecans, almonds, peanuts, Baby Ruth candy bar all day long. The classic Heaven Hill profile that I love so much. It reminds me of the Parker's Heritage Double Barrel. Okay. Front and mid, this just completely destroys the C. Like I keep repeating, caramel, molasses, nougat, candy bar, peanuts, tobacco, all kinds of good stuff. The finish is a little weak. It kind of burns out into barrel spice and tobacco, but there's so much flavor in the front and the mid. What I am missing in this that I immediately jumped out at me is that with that almost 14 years age statement on the C923, is that buttered corn, that rich buttery corn is not as prevalent on this, and I'm missing that from this. I mean, that buttered corn note is the richness, the oiliness on the C923 is really nice. Yeah, not a lot of creamed corn on the finish, not a lot of creaminess. The finish is kind of like spicy and tannic almost on the B. The finish on this is not real strong, I don't feel like. But the front and the mid is really good. Let's go back to the C923 and yeah, it smells totally different. It's crazy how much different these are next to each other. So the C923 is more rounded, softer, a bit creamier from the age. The overall profile, though, is it's too muted and dull. There's just not a lot of flavor in the C923. I prefer the flavor profile of the B, like by far. Age-wise, this is, gosh darn, what, 2.5 years younger than this? I feel like if this was almost 14 years, the difference in the superiority of this would be huge. I would almost rank these the same. It's definitely a potatoes thing. The best way I could kind of relate this is, and I've seen a divide about maybe 70-30 or 60-40 online. The C923 is a lot like Heaven Hill 17. And the B523 is a lot like Heaven Hill 18. I've side-by-sided those. If you preferred the Heaven Hill 18, you probably will prefer the B523 to last year's, B524 to last year's C23. Kind of reminds me of a very similar type of vibe. So these are both really great, though. They're both definitely buy/horror bottles, depending on what your collection looks like. This is a better whiskey, the B is. The C923 is a more aged whiskey, if that makes sense. So flavor profile all the way the B. The C is a better aged product. I would kind of give it a coin toss leaning towards the B. But the B, this is strong. If you like the B batches, if you like the Baby Ruth candy bar vibe from Heaven Hill, which is why I drink Heaven Hill products, get me the candy bar all day, right? That's why I want Heaven Hill. So I'm going to give the slight edge to the B, but they're both very solid. You know, they're both B's, B pluses, and they're both buy bottles for sure. 100% buy these. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Tell me what you think. Have you been able to side-by-side these? Did you think the C923 was a little overrated, overhyped? I did. I thought it was, again, it's a good whiskey with a great age statement, is what I thought. A very well-aged whiskey that was okay. The B is a very good whiskey that could use some more age. So tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about this B24. Tell me what you think about the C23. I'm curious. I want your feedback. For the love of God, tell me. Thank you for watching Bourbon Forage Fishing, and take care of yourself. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you.